Hi quilting friends, I'm Linda Nitzen with Sizzix here today to show you how to make the beautiful Missouri Star Quilt Company Dresden plate. It is a Sizzix die, of course, and it has so much versatility. It has to be one of my favorites. Two ways to put it together. You can either lay the blades flat on the end like is done in this pillow here, and if you use the entire blade, it's 10 inches. So your pillow comes out about 22 inches. You have to take into consideration that circle in the middle. But you don't have to use the whole 10 inches if you don't want to. And you have the versatility to make the pillow or any project with a pointed Dresden. So you can have the flat Dresden or the pointed Dresden. The cool thing about this pointed Dresden is there's no turning under the seams. Beautiful thing that they designed with this die. Super easy to put it together and no rolling over the seams. So super easy. Also, this isn't a full 10-inch plate. If you notice, it's significantly smaller on the full circle than the large one here, pillow, and the left side. So, be creative with the die. Let me show you how to do the smaller plates. And of course, the same premise arrives if you want to do the larger, but let me show you how you can manipulate that die a little bit. To do the Dresden plate, you need 20 of the Dresden plate shapes. So if I'm not going to use the full 10 inches, I can divide up my Dresden plate die in any segment that I want. So if I want larger circles, but I still want a 20-inch plate, then I put my fabric up towards the end here. If I want smaller Dresden plates, smaller circles, I put my fabric only on this end. I can decide to put it in the middle if I want to too. It's really wherever you want to use that Dresden plate. And of course, if you use the full 10 inches, you're going to get very large plates. So really play around with the look that you're looking for. You can layer up different circles if you want to and have multiple points coming out, or some circles and some points. Again, so much versatility with this die. When I'm using the smaller plate though, I put a line on my die so that I know where to line up the fabric. There's no guessing involved here. I want to make sure that all my plates come out to the same size. So I can put up to 8 layers at a time on, but I'm going to put my fabric lined up right on that line. You decide where you want your line. Again, if you're using a layer cake or a charm pack where you only have 5 inches, then mark your line at 5 inches. Just use a straight edge. If you use a Sharpie, it doesn't bleed off onto your fabric and it stays permanent on your die. So you can put up to 8 layers at a time on the die. We need a cutting pad for the top and a cutting pad for the bottom. You can use any of the family of Big Shot machines, but today I have the Big Shot Plus. Because that die has a straight blade on the end, you want to try and skew the die as it goes through the machine as much as you can. Even 5% is going to make a big difference on the cut. Here are your blades, and then we're just going to repeat that the full 20 times. Now I have my 20 pieces cut. To make the pointed blade, you simply fold over the wide end of the blade shape, and you're going to sew from one end to the other. And you're going to chain piece all 20 of these. Always using our 1/4 inch. Okay, once you have all of your blades completed, you're going to just cut them apart. But let me show you how that little point is going to make that pointed blade. So all we're going to do is flip it right side out. And then we're going to press it. And it's really important to press it with that seam running right down the middle. If you put your seam towards the side, notice that your angles are way off and your blades are going to come out kind of wonky. So definitely make sure that that seam down the middle, and then give it a hot press. Now that you have all of the pieces pressed with your points out towards the outside, arrange your Dresden plate blades in a pleasing manner. You need 20 of them, so double check that you have 20. And after that, you're just going to start sewing them together. So let's go ahead and do that. If you want to change anything around, now's the time. But I'm going to take them right now, and I'm just going to start by placing 2 pieces right sides together. And the magic part is the top point here at the blade. where the points are going to dip down. So you want those pieces to start out correctly. If by chance the bottom of your blade doesn't match up exactly, don't worry about that. It's going to get covered up by a circle anyway. The magic point here is the piece up here at the top. Keep them in order. Again, 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just taking them in pairs. And then I'll take the pairs and open those up and match those together. Okay, I've sewed my pieces in pairs and I finger pressed the seams open. Okay, and now I'm going to sew those pairs into quads. All right. Our quads are sewn. The next step is to sew those last 5 seams together and we'll have our full Dresden plate. The entire Dresden plate is sewn up and I'm showing you the back side so that you can see I've pressed all of the seams open. And then we're going to flip that over. So we need a background piece, and what I've done is I've folded it into quadrants and pressed that point so that I can see where the grid is for the center. And then I'm merely going to line up my Dresden plate so that the point here and the point there are going to match. So I'm going to pin each of the points down. And then here's where you can use any of your decorative stitches. A blanket stitch works, a zigzag works, a straight stitch works, blind hem. Any of those will work. So I have all of the points pinned down around the Dresden plate. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and use a zigzag stitch because that's what I prefer. And I'm going to use a white thread. If you change to use a zigzag, be sure to change your foot on your sewing machine so you don't break a needle. Once I have my Dresden plate stitched down, now we just need to cover up the hole in the circle in the middle. So the circles can come from a couple of different ways. If you have the Big Shot Plus machine, the 3.5 inch circle is in your selection of the free die that comes with the machine. You can cut that out of paper or you can cut it out of fabric. There's 2 ways to get a circle down here. If you put your fusible adhesive on the back side of your fabric and then cut it out with the die, the 3.5 inch, then you just sew around the raw edge. But you can needle turn it under, even on the machine, kind of in the same fashion that you did with the Dresden plate blades. So cut out the 3.5 inch circle out of cardstock, cut a 4 inch circle with a different die out of your 4 inch die, and then put a running stitch, a very loose basting stitch around the perimeter of the circle. Lay your cardstock on the inside of the circle, draw up your threads. So I've drawn up my ends together and cinched up that circle so I have perfect edges. You're just going to hit that with a hot iron and then you can go ahead and pull your paper out. But that will get you the finished edge like you have the turned under edge, just like you have on the outside of the Dresden plate. So let's go ahead and remove that. If you have a little stitch that didn't catch there, don't worry about it. Once you hit it with the iron, it'll come perfect. So just carefully get that out of there. And there's your perfect circle. Edges turned under and everything. You can either needle turn that under or you can do the same stitch that you did around the outside of your Dresden plates. And that's finishing your Dresden. So enjoy making many Dresden plates. Use pointed edges, use round edges, make them big, make them small, make them any way you'd like.